Batman The Dark Knight number 15, written by Greg Hurwitz, art by David Finch. Last issue left off with Scarecrow having Penguin build him a blimp, and he gassed all of Gotham on Christmas Day. Because, of course, he did. This issue picks up with Bruce Wayne just chilling, watching TV in bed when he flips over to the news and sees that all of Gotham has been gassed. And he's like, all right, let's get this going. So he hops out of bed, puts on the bat suit, and Alfred's like, you are way too messed up. You still should not be going out. And Batman's like, don't worry, Alfred, I'm coming prepared, as he puts on a gas mask. And then we see him in the middle of Gotham Square, and he sees how absolutely insane everyone is and like going crazy from the fear toxin. He's like, okay, maybe I'm not prepared. This is a lot going on here. I'm trying to fight them, but also protect them at the same time. What we need is an antidote. Is Robin there? And Damian's in the cave with Alfred as well. And just like, yeah, we're both here. Do you want me out there? And he's like, no. I want you to go with Alfred. Go to Wayne Tech. I'm sending you the chemical composition of this fear toxin. Go find me an antidote and get ready to mass produce it. Wake up Lucius Fox. So they go to Wayne Tower, and Alfred's basically like, okay, so you can mass produce an antidote? And he's like, no, we have never seen this fear toxin before. It is entirely new. We would literally have to start from scratch. None of our pre-existing antidotes would work on it. And Batman calls, and he's like, hey, you guys building an antidote? And Alfred's like, apparently, according to Fox, it would take months to synthesize. And Batman's like, I have minutes until Gotham is torn apart. So you wanna tell me some better news than that? And he's like, I'm sorry, Master Bruce, but without any sort of antibodies to start from, we have to do this from scratch. And at that point, Batman gets his gas mask knocked off, and he's like, wait a minute, hold on, I'm able to breathe. I don't feel the effects of the fear toxin. I have antibodies. I will be there literally in 10 seconds. And he hops into the Batjet and just crashes it into the side of Wayne Tower. And he's like, hey, thanks for getting Lucius out of here in those 10 seconds in order to go do something. So go ahead, take a sample of my blood. Let's start synthesizing stuff, and we'll go ahead and get it out there. By the way, last issue, there was a whole thing about a little girl who saw some X's on some maps. Clearly, those were not the attack points, so those must have been safe houses. So have Gordon find, like, maps, have the girl point at where she saw the X's, and maybe we can find some safe houses that Scarecrow's hiding out in. And Alfred's like, yep, sounds good. We'll go ahead and do that. Tiny problem. You are only one man with a limited blood supply, and as such, the antibodies will take days to multiply to the point where we can get that distributed. And Gotham's like, did I not tell you like 2 minutes ago that it has literal minutes to survive? And he's like, yeah, well, I can't speed up time, Master Bruce. I don't know what you want me to do. And Batman's like, okay, the transfuser, hook it up into the Batjet directly to the aerosolizer, and we will just spray my blood all over Gotham in a breathable form, and that will cure people. Which, meta-analysis here, seems unlikely, but they're like, the only problem with that plan is they're like, in order to do that, you will have to use so much of your blood, you will actually definitely die. And Batman's still listening to the news, hearing all of Gotham tearing itself apart, and he's just like, we're gonna do it. So he backs the Batjet out of Wayne Tower and sets up the spray with his blood coming out of it. And they're keeping an eye on his blood pressure system. And, you know, his heart rate's starting to slow down, but it is working. People are de-crazifying on the streets. And as Batman's heart rate starts to slow down more and more and more, he's like, hey, I'm kind of losing consciousness here. Damian, you there? And he's like, yes, I'm there, Father. What do you need? And he's like, I need you to pilot this plane and do not take it back home until everyone is cured. Promise? And Damian's like, I promise. I'm sorry. And so he's systems going into shock. He's literally unable to survive anymore. And Alfred's like, okay, he's unconscious. Bring him home now. And Damien's like, I can't. I'm sorry. I made him a promise. And we see the heart rate monitor just beep, 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 and then beep as an unconscious, seemingly dead Batman is in the cockpit of this jet, finally being flown back home. So then we get a page of Alfred with, his medical training. He's just doing everything he can to bring Batman back. Damian standing off to the side looking sad, just hearing the heart monitor flatlining, until finally they manage to get a pulse back. And of course, Batman is fine. A day passes, maybe, and Batman's sitting at his kitchen table. Alfred brings him some food, and he's like, I don't know what you were so worried about, Alfred. And Alfred just throws the food at him, just like, you suck. You've literally put me through hell here. But then the bat signal goes up, and he looks at Damian, and Damian's like, if you don't go, I will. So turns out that they did have the girl look at all the safe houses. They pinpointed it down to one that looked familiar, and all the cops are just waiting outside because nobody wants to deal with Scarecrow at this point. But Batman's like, oh, I'll go kick in the door. So he walks up, he kicks it in. Scarecrow's just standing there, his lower jaw still disgustingly detached from his body. And Scarecrow just kind of collapses to his knees and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm done. So that's that. We then see the New Year's Eve concert with his girlfriend Natalia. She's playing her piano piece and she messes up a couple of notes at one point and she feels awful about it. She's like, oh, no, I wasn't perfect. I didn't do it right. And Bruce shows up in the back after the concert and he's like, you did a great job. And she's like, I messed it up. And he's just like, it was a very complicated piece. You messed up 2 notes. Don't worry about it. How about you play it again? And she plays it again. She plays it perfectly. And he's like, there, see, all we need is a second chance sometimes. And he offers to go home, order takeout, and watch a dumb movie for New Year's. And seemingly they're totally okay. And then we get the last page, which is Scarecrow being brought into Arkham. And he's like, I've got a secret. I have more fear toxin laced into my pants. And as soon as they give me a chance, I'm going to use it and break out of here in the mass hysteria. And the officers throw him into the cell. And they throw him in such a way that the vial cracks as he's trapped into an airtight container with nothing but his own super high potency fear toxin. And so last panel is him in his cell, picturing him trapped down in his father's basement still. The end. Okay, so considering that the first arc was a little bit of Bane and a little bit of Scarecrow, and then this arc was nothing but Scarecrow, this has been now 16 issues of Scarecrow in some way, shape, or form. I'm done with it. I am done with Scarecrow. I think this was a solid arc for him. I think it did a good job of setting up different character beats. It did a great job making him sufficiently creepy. I think that gassing the city with a blimp at the end was silly, but it worked in a way. But I don't want to see Scarecrow again for at least a year. We are done with him. So overall, I'd say that this arc as a whole was pretty good, but it did lag in some points, and it was just a little bit too, oh, what does the Batman fear? I think that this last issue itself was fine. It really was more of what are the lengths Batman's willing to go to, and also Alfred's having to deal with that. So I like it. I think it was fine. I just am so tired of Scarecrow in this book now. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 7.5. Art-wise, good. Writing-wise, good. I got Scarecrow phobia.